So I want to say thank you very much for showing up. Thank you for being present. Thank you for taking the time to be on this journey of unbecoming together with me, with each other, for yourself. And most importantly, thank you for being you. And so I just want to, it's kind of the middle of the day for me, and it's a sort of a busyness. And I just want to take a moment for us just to ground, be here, be present. And so there's something I enjoy doing, and it's basically just reach out wide and feel your chest expand. And then as you bring your arms in, just give yourself a really big hug. Thank you. Say thank you to yourself. I just want to address something. I just received a message from Michaela. Michaela, I will follow up with you immediately after this call, and I will deal with that for you. So anyway, for those of you tuning in for the first time, I am Pete Steadman, your guide and host on this journey of unbecoming. I am an intentional life mentor and transformative travel facilitator. And you can learn more about me from my speaker page, which I'll just pop in the chat. There we go. Cool. And so I want to have that available for you so that we can stay connected. But I want to just bring your awareness to a couple of the things which I'm offering as free gifts for everybody here on this call, on this event, and just to sort of look at ways where we can explore continuing the journey together. And so I'm offering 7 one-on-one Reignite Your Life Discovery calls, and I invite you to apply for one of those 7 sessions. And in that time together, it's a one-on-one opportunity with me to sort of identify where you are on your journey, what's blocking your path, and how to align with your soul's purpose. And so they're really powerful, they're really fun, and I love hosting those. And it's a gift to you. The other is I am going to be hosting a free masterclass the Tuesday, 9 days after this event ends. I think it's this, I'll let Letitia put the date in the chat afterwards. But it's the essential unbecoming, rediscovering your innate wisdom and purpose, where I will guide you to uncover what truly matters to you and how to align with a life of authenticity and purpose. And then there's a third thing, which I haven't shared anywhere. I'm sharing it with you for the first time. And it's something I'm super, super excited about. And it's a physical journey of unbecoming. It's a real life, actual journey. And so I'm just going to share a couple of things. It's like, it's for people who are, I'm getting goosebumps actually sharing it. It's for people who are genuinely committed to making change in their lives. If that is you, then you're going to want to pay attention, because I'm going to guide people. We're going to get to step away from being comfortably uncomfortable, out of that environment, courageously step into the unknown, reconnect to nature and your true self, and be part of an intimate group who are there to guide and support each other and take action towards living life on purpose. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And there's over 14 days, a group of 10 of us are going to walk from the Caribbean to the Pacific across Costa Rica. And so it's 280 kilometers over 14 days. And the reason I love doing this is because many of you will have spent time in a mastermind or a retreat or something like that. But the best and biggest transformations happen in between the sessions when you're walking. You get to meet people at different levels of their journey. You get to meet people at a heart level, at a soul level. And I want to extend that out over a 2-week period so we really get to know each other and get to feel that person's energy and find ways to support and guide each other. And so if you're interested in that, please email me at ajourneyofunbecoming@gmail.com, and I can just copy that and put it in. There isn't anything on the internet for that. There will be, but this is an invitation to people who are here now showing up to apply for one of 10 places. And so that's where, so that was basically, I just wanted to share those and let people know. It's like, I'm just so energized about this journey of unbecoming. And I want to find ways to guide and support you further. Once this retreat ends on Friday, it's only the start of the journey. And so we are here now at the midpoint of this journey, but in reality, it's just the beginning. This is just becoming aware that the journey needs to happen. It's becoming aware of our purpose and getting clarity on what it is we're here to do. And so I would love it if you would pop in the chat if you've had a breakthrough, an aha moment, found clarity at some point during the last 2.5 days. I would love it if you just put a word or a couple of things into the chat just to share that with people here. I'd love your feedback a little bit. Perfect. I'm going to continue on here. Yeah, Letitia was determined by ascending sign to my star sign with Jocelyn's star feather. Magic happens. Thank you, Carrie. So I want to be here now, and so where I'm at is we're all here on this journey, and there's changes in front of us, and so we're at a crossroad in our lives where there's a path which we're on, and there's a path that we belong on. And so the theme of this life training is the secret to almost everything. And so as we look at our lives, there's a point when we're born, and there's a point where we're going to die. We're going to take our last breath and die. And we're somewhere in between those 2 points. And if you were on my live session, I went through an exercise where we put hearts on a chart, and we basically got a real feel for where we think we are in our life's journey to the best of our guess, like a best guess. But the reality, like Kada pointed out on our journey this morning, we don't actually know. We don't know how many days, weeks, months, years, or even moments we have left. And we can't change the past. We can't change what is behind us, but we can change the way we view it. We can choose to not let it define us. We can choose to set it down. And for me, I think a powerful lesson here is to find ways to shift the perspective. It's to see the gift from the wound. And so we explore these things which are kind of holding us down. They're anchoring us to our identity. And we make a conscious choice to change that. And we say, okay, what is the lesson I've learned from this? And sometimes we have to relearn lessons. Sometimes life will give us lessons more than once. And it'll find that it'll give you it tends to get less gentle as it has to remind you. But where I'm going with this is we use those as our building blocks. We can take those past experiences, and rather than defining us, we use them as our fuel and our foundation to build on, so that we're not defined by that. We can move into who we truly are. And something which I find is a really important reminder is there's a book by Bronnie Ware, and it's The 5 Regrets of the Dying. I think it's The Regrets of the Dying. But the number one for me is, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life which was true to myself and not what others expected of me. And you've heard me say that before, and I will say it again. because I think it's really important to take stock of life as a whole and not just see it as tomorrow or just blindly going through days thinking, okay, I'll set my goals for this year and I will do this. I'll set my goals. Oh, I've got my to-do list for now, which is a to-do list which never goes away. And it's this feeling of we're not living in the moment. We're thinking about dragging the past with us, and we're also anxious about the future and missing out on the moment in between. And what I invite you to do is just to, if it helps, close your eyes and just sort of step out of where you are in life and just go up, as if you're in a plane looking down on a sort of a road between two cities. And you're there and you're looking and it's mapping out underneath of you. And you think, is what I'm worrying about right now, are the things I'm stressing about on my to-do list, are they actually really important in the grand scheme of things? Or am I keeping myself busy either fulfilling somebody else's goal or doing things I think I should be doing? And at the same time, it's displacing the things which you really feel you want to do. Like I find sometimes I'm busy working at my desk and my son will want to come over and visit me. And I'm like, can you play with me? And I'm like, no, I've got to work. It's like, the only person who's going to remember you working late is your children. The boss won't care. And so I'm here right now. What I want to do with this time we have here is to showcase and share a couple of, I've got a pictorial thing I want to share with you. And then I've got a tool I will share with people who request it, because I think it's something which is powerful. I don't want to just give it out. I want to give it to somebody who's willing to use it. And so I will get to that a little bit later. But something which I think is really, really important is, as we look at our life and we look at the point between where we're born and when we die, if you, like for most people, if they draw that on a piece of paper, they'll draw a line. And they measure it by the longevity of life. They measure it by, oh, I got to 83 years old. I got to 96. I got to, I don't know. My dad got to 52 and died on the phone with the bank manager smoking a cigarette. And I'll just share a little bit. Prior to that, he worked from when he was 16, he failed his exams. He became the 5th generation on a family farm. And he worked from 16 until the day he died. There was no retirement. And there was a point towards the end of his life where he went 10 years without taking a holiday. And in that time, 2 years without taking a day off, because of the expectations of others. He was afraid of what his dad might say or how his dad might judge him. He was afraid of what the other people in the farming community who lived close by might say. And he was more concerned about the lines in the crops looking parallel than his health. He was more concerned about how the fields looked to the neighbors and the strangers than his family. It's not that he didn't care, it's how he showed up. It's how he was conditioned to be. And the irony of him and I got close in the last few years. When I was growing up, I was scared of him because it was just, he was doing all he should. And it was just, there was no compassion, no heart in it or in him. And it was where I'm going with it is this, lost my thought. It'll come back to me. Give me a moment. I'm not sure. It's going to come back. Anyway, So the essence of, the irony of him passing away at that point is there was value inside of our farm. But if he went and sold a piece of the farm, he was concerned that he would be judged for failing as a farmer, that he couldn't keep the whole thing together. And so for him, it was more important to keep the whole thing together than it was to sell off a piece to nourish his own soul and relinquish himself of the burden of others. And so what my invitation from that is to take a look at your lives and think, okay, how am I compromising my life, which is impacting those who matter to me, the people who I would like to be beside me when I take my last breath? What's that interaction? And it helps you to take a look at life in general and be like, why am I doing all of the things which I think I need to be doing right now, when in the end I've got a whole journey to go, and I want to bring the people who matter the most to me with me on that journey, so that we can have a deeper, more loving, more compassionate relationship, share moments together, and then watch that ripple outwards and impact the people around them and around them and around them. And at a core, it's simplicity. I feel that we overcomplicate things in life massively. And so there's a part of that which ties into the gift which I'm going to share with you shortly. But I want to bring something up to you, and it's when I was saying about the line between birth and death, and people sort of look at that as being a measurement of years. Nobody ever really talks about how wide it is. Like, what is in that life? What is in that moment? What is in that day? And how can we bring those moments that matter into now, rather than just sort of like trying to get through the day on that straight line so that we can get to tomorrow and get to tomorrow to get tomorrow. We get to a point in our lives where we either can't work or don't want to work, and we hope that we have enough, but it's never enough because we've never actually thought about what comes afterwards. We're just going through the motion, step by step by step by step, along this process in the cultural, societal expectations, without really allowing ourselves permission to think, what is it that matters to me? How am I here to serve? What is my gift? And so what I want to share here is, and it's what I've talked about on interviews, it's what I'm talking about on the live sessions. It's like, this moment right now is your permission to change direction in life. It's your permission to make yourself your number one priority. And just think of how different that would be if we could all be kind to ourselves, accepting of ourselves, and how that could ripple out to all of our interactions. It's not about having more. It's not about being more. It's about being yourself. And for me, it's about, am I enough? And it's been a difficult journey for me. I have times where I'm like, I start to question. But it comes back to the core pieces of reconnect to nature, get outside, take perspective, take reflection of my life. One day I was walking down my driveway, and I do it each day. I walk down, it's almost a kilometer there and back. We live on 37 acres in Costa Rica. And so I walked down the driveway and back, and I was walking down, and I was in, I think, possibly the world's smallest pity party. And then I sort of metaphorically slapped myself across the face and said, what the hell are you doing? Your life is a dream for most of the population. So why are you stuck where you are? Why are you sort of beating yourself up and just being like, and playing small? And it's like, have gratitude. Look around. It's something I often wonder. I look out to the ocean, and I'm like, how many people on this planet will never see an ocean in their life? And it's like, yeah, I'm not sure that I'm I'm not sure being in this pity party is serving anybody. So it's basically pulling myself together and being like, okay, I am the captain of my own boat. And so I just want to digress a little bit, because I just want to share a little bit about how my feelings and how things show up for me, and ways of reframing and repositioning some of those thoughts. And so I'm going to share something with you, and it ties in with the feelings of emptiness that a lot of people feel. And let me click share. Can you see this picture? It's got gray boxes along the bottom. It's got red squares. And so here, it's very crude, but it's a demonstration. And this is what essentially a working adult's life looks like. And so along the top, there's 30 boxes, which represent the 30 days of the month. And then you've got 24 boxes down, which is the 24 hours in the day. And so the gray boxes at the top and the gray boxes at the bottom are roughly, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 8 hours. So it's approximately when you're sleeping. The red blocks in the middle, those are the average, like 9 to 5 office hours. The pink is, say, travel or preparation or doing something on your way to work. And there's 2 missing on the right, I see. And so what we're left with, by the time we strip away sleep and we strip away the work, is the white. And then I haven't put in any time buying groceries. I haven't put in time making food. I haven't put in time doing laundry. I haven't put in the rest time on Netflix. I haven't put in social media scrolling or any of those things. And so I share this as a tool for people to think. It's like, how can I feel alive when there's nowhere for life to flow through my life? So if this is what an average day looks like, you've got only a certain amount of capacity for life to flow. Are you with me? Can I get a thumbs up if you're following? Cool. And so where I'm at here on this journey, where I'm going to next is, we have to do something every day if we want to navigate from the path we're on to a path where we belong on, our soul's path, our aligned path. And sometimes that journey isn't, you don't go from your soul. Like, some people don't know what their soul's path is. Some people aren't clear on that, but they do know what it isn't. So that's a journey of exploration in itself. And it's kind of like, I like to see that as like a compass. And so if you you just point one way on the compass, you're like, okay, I know it's not that way. So I've got another 359 degrees of options where it can be. And my guess is it's not the one next to it on either side of it. It's going to be somewhere. You're going to have to move the needle a certain way to get somewhere close. And a really good place to start with that is when you go back to what used to bring you joy when you were younger. Something you dreamed about, but the voice in your head says, don't do that. And so I want to share this tool or this picture with you as a way of choosing to see life and choosing to infuse the feeling of being alive into life. And then stop share on that. And then just do a quick check-in and see how everybody's doing. Carrie, is that good? Anybody else have anything they wish to share? Any thoughts or comments? And then I'm going to come in, and the next I'm going to give you the secret. Okay, let's continue. So before I share this with you, I have a question. Have you ever, or do you currently feel imperfect? At some level. Has there been something about you which has questioned? It's like you just almost like not feeling enough. There's wanting to change something about you or something. That's wicked. Yes. Maria. No, I'm not excited that Maria, that came across really wrong. I'm not excited that you're feeling that. What I want to do is I want to offer a reframe on this. And it's something which I love to do as far as seeing the definition or the comparison between perfect and imperfect. And for me, I think that if a huge amount of freedom comes around when we shed the misconception around imperfection and the need or the pursuit of perfection. And what I like to do is I like to rewrite the word imperfect and put an apostrophe between I and M and a space between M and P to get I'm perfect. Who's feeling that? If you get nothing out of this event or this talk, please feel that. And if ever you're feeling down on yourself, just remind yourself, I'm perfect. And so with that, I want to share a tool which I like to work with. I work with personally and I share with my clients. Let me zoom out on this. It's way too big. Share screen. Yeah. Okay. This is it. And it's crude and it's simple, but it works. Carrie, you don't have to take a picture. If you just put your email in the chat or send it to me, just reply to one of the emails you've been receiving. And the reason I like to do this is I want somebody to demonstrate to me that I'm willing to use it. Too often we get free gifts and we take things and we never do anything with them. This, in its simplicity, used over a prolonged period of time, will change your life. And so I'm just going to walk through this quite quickly, and then I'll open it up to some questions. And so you can see at the top is the I'm Perfect Action Planner. And so already you're starting your day. And so this is a sheet which I fill out every day. And I do it before I turn on my phone. It's do it before I sit down at my computer. For me, it's enjoyable to go out into nature and just spend time, get on the ground, put my feet on the soil and just feel nature and feel alive. And so at the top, we have a momentum number. And the reason the momentum number ties through momentum is a series of moments. So if I asked you and I say, okay, so tell me something which was exciting or fun or impactful, which happened on Tuesday last week. Then a lot of people draw a blank. They're like, that was just another day, I guess. Or something, and quite often you do a reflection, you look back over the last year and you're like, what happened? Or you might go to your photos and be like, okay, and to trigger memories. And it's because we're not actively acknowledging the moments. And it was on Jackie Woodside's interview, which I did, where she talks around our brain is conditioned to memorize the bad things which happen to us. And if we want to bring the positive things into our life, we actually, I think it's either 10 or 17 seconds, we have to have undivided attention on that experience for it to enter the part of the brain which we can then remember. And so these good things happen throughout the day, but we forget about them. And so we start out with that, and it's a momentum number at the top. So it's day 1, day 2. And so it's just a daily exercise. And then once you get to about, like day 1 is, you're like, oh, okay, don't do it tomorrow. But then it's like, once you get to day 7, day 8, you're like, I don't want to start from the beginning again. And it builds this feeling of feeling alive, grows within you with every day. And so I make it like this, so it's simple, because so often we have these planners or these things which we have to fill out, but they become too complex. And then we don't even try. And that's why I love simplicity. I love things. It's like, how do you distill this down? And living in Central America, where we don't have access to a ton of stuff, you think, okay, what can I do with what I do have? Is there a way around this? Is this problem even a problem? And so here we start with the day with 3 gratitudes. And I like just to be as specific as I can. I like to recognize I do different gratitudes each day. It's not just regurgitating because I think I should. I think about moments with my children. I'm grateful for the rain nourishing the soil and how it's going to be, the fruit is going to grow. I'm grateful for, I shared on a different talk, I talked about we have loads of trees blew over on a storm on the solstice. And I'm grateful that the trees fell down, because it gives me a place to plant a food forest. It gives me trees and soil to lay across to create terraces to hold nutrients for future life to grow. And besides, trees fall down in forests. It happens. And then there's another situation was we got rear-ended in a car accident. And yes, it was horrific. And I'm grateful it wasn't worse. I'm grateful that we weren't hit by a bigger vehicle. It was a car which hit us and it got stuck under the frame rail. A bigger vehicle could have come up and over, and I don't think I would be holding my 13-year-old son today in that situation. So it doesn't matter how bad something is, we can shift our perspective to see it from a different point of view of gratitude. And then today's affirmation: who are you? Who do you want to be today? As you explore your different identities, how do you want to show up for you? One which is really powerful for me, and really it's powerful and forgiving, is I am enough. I am loved. And then my imperfect action today is, this ties through to a meditation which I'm going to be offering on Friday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. I got the times right today. In essence, I'm going to guide you on a meditation where I connect with a younger version of myself. I connect with a future version of myself. And I ask for guidance from my future self. Because my future self has already accomplished everything. They've already navigated the obstacles and challenges which I'm facing right now. They've accomplished that. And they're glowing and they're radiant. And so then I sit and I just meditate and I spend time, and then I just sort of say, what do I need to do today? And the key about the imperfect action is it's no more than 15 minutes. It's not a long exercise. Everybody can find 15 minutes in the day. In fact, 15 minutes is only 1% of your day. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. I'm quite certain that everybody can find 15 minutes to do something which enables you to feel alive. I would love you to say yes to that. I would love you to put a yes in the comment and say, yes, I can do that for me. Thank you. Because this is not about my journey. This is me shining my light so that you can step onto your path. This is me just being a channel or a guide to, or even a mirror to help you see the light inside of you. The light which has always been there is just smothered under these wet, soggy blankets of other people's expectations and cultural obligations and the likes. And so then there's a tick box on the right. And so that's a sign to yourself that, yes, I did it. Yes, I did that task for me. And the key is imperfect action. It's not about, did I do it perfectly? Like, did I send a letter to this person? Did I hug my children? Nobody's measuring the level of success. Only it's a feeling inside of you. And it's like, did I do that? Did I allow myself to sleep in? Like there's no measurement of the action. There's no definition of, like, there's no competition around the size of the action. The essence is, did I feel alive doing it? And then once you have that opening in your day every day, this is that feeling of aliveness which will penetrate those blocks of time, which will allow the opening to expand. Once you can find 15 minutes to feel alive, you're going to find more. The pockets will appear. And then it'll infiltrate all of your life. And the ripple effect will be immense. And then there's a section there for what did I learn? And so that's a point of reflection from your imperfect action. And then there's a space. And that's deliberate. That's a space for you to put whatever you want. It may be an inspiration. It may be a drawing. It may be nothing. It may be a paper sketching of a leaf. You go outside with your pen and your, I don't have a blank piece of paper to hand, but you just go and do a leaf and you do a paper rubbing on the leaf just because you're in a moment and you want to immortalize that moment in your planner. You could stick a photo there. And then I'm leading to the last bit here, which I think is so, I don't know, it's something which is missing in a lot of people's lives, and it's making moments matter. And so what I invite for you is to look at times in your day where you can be like, that's a moment that mattered for me today. It could be a conversation. It could be an experience. It could be, it's like a timestamp in the day to make this day matter in the bigger picture. Something which I planted a seed. And there's 3 boxes at the end of these. And those boxes are not, did I actually do the moment? Because you've already done the moment. That's happened. These boxes are to create the ripple effect. And there's no accident why my website is therippleeffect.com. No, it's the ripple, sorry, I get that wrong. It's the ripplerevolution.com. I'm just all over the place here. It's an opportunity to share. So if that moment was with somebody, you take a moment and you send them a text. There's no explanation, there's no story. Say you had a conversation with somebody and they helped you, or I don't know, there was an interaction. Maybe it was a negative interaction which helped you to see something differently. And the purpose of that box is to say, if something happened and it mattered to you and it involves somebody else, you give them gratitude for that opportunity. And you share the feeling of making moments matter. So you're not doing it as a way of a big, long sort of 3-page email as far as like, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I really appreciated the time we spent together at dinner. Thank you. I really appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I really appreciate the gift you sent. I really appreciate that you thought of me. And so it's a quick, simple share to express your feelings and allow this positive vibration to radiate outwards. And then the last box that's there, and why this is so powerful, is was I 1% better than I was yesterday? Because there's this saying, it's a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Every journey we embark on requires a series of steps. And if you can be 1% better every day, in 72 days, you're going to be twice as good as you are today. And that speeds up. By the end of the year, you're 37 times better than you were. And that's the power of consistent action. And it's designed in this way, so it's a simple sheet which you can replicate and use. It's not a complicated system. It's not a complicated thing. It's something where you can have, feel, touch, and you can customize it to suit you. This works for me and it works for my clients, and so I'm sharing it with you. And so I'm going to stop share now and just open up for a few questions. I'm just looking through the chat. I'm going to say, Carrie, I think I've answered your question about aren't we all imperfect? No, we're not all imperfect. We're imperfectly perfect. And I'll share something with you. I actually make wooden blocks which are imperfectly perfect out of discarded wood, which I find, because not all blocks are square and uniform. So this one here is a piece of teak. This one here is an old fence post with a nail hole through it. This one here is a piece of hardwood from Mexico. I have another one. Where did it go? This one here. This one has a cut in it from a chainsaw. It's still a perfect block. But by the definition of perfection, it's imperfect. This would be discarded on a production line because it's imperfect. But is it a block? Absolutely. Does it function to hold up another block? Yes. Can you make beautiful things out of things which are imperfect? Absolutely. And it's all perception. Like you could see that as being, okay, it's cut, it's broken. If I twist it like that, you don't see it. And so that's why perspective is so important on how we see imperfections. I'm just going down. Does anybody just want to come on microphone and just say something, share something? I find it easier just to do that and just speak to you personally, because for me, it's the connection is so important. Pamela writes, I love this example of imperfectly perfect. You're most welcome, Pamela. Thank you for being here. So if nobody has questions, Pamela. No, Carrie has her hand up. Hey, Carrie.
Hi. I liked the part where you said, you know, the permission, just like the previous woman, Jocelyn was saying, to be the most important person in our lives. And what I've learned is that's not selfish, it's selfless, because if we're not loving ourselves and we're not the most important, and it's taken 61 years to figure this out, right? So what I found interesting was like the last 2 weeks, I've been listening to Van Morrison a lot. And, you know, there's a song that he sings called Someone Exactly Like You. I don't know if any of you know that song. And I was thinking up to 2 weeks ago, someday I want some man to feel this way about me. And I don't know what happened, but 2 weeks ago, I started playing that every morning to me, because I I'm so happy to be the person that I am. I don't need someone else to be looking for me. So this is why I find it interesting that all this session, and you coming up in my thread on the weekend, it's like perfect timing when the student is ready. And yeah, I just wanted to share that I sing a song to myself now.
Awesome. I love that. I love that you're honoring yourself. And when you're mentioning your age, I'm like, you're never too late. You're never too old. You're right exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
Like your journey through life is your journey through life.
Yeah. It's better than 20 years from now, figuring it out.
That's that thing. It's like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Right.
We can't go back to 20 years, but we can start now. For sure. And that's why I find the 1% improvement, it's not so daunting that people set this challenge. It's like, it's unobtainable. Because they can't see themselves being that version of themselves that they give up before they try. But they say, can I make one choice, which I couldn't make yesterday? Could I say no to something which I know I don't want to do? Or could I say yes to something which makes me feel alive? Tick the box. You've done the 1%. That's all it takes. And if you can then get better at those individual choices, little by little, everything changes. Do I have any other questions? I love what you've shared here, Maria. I'm going to just share that if you are enjoying this event, this retreat, and you want to have access to the recordings, I'm going to be starting to take down the recordings from day one. But if you're still wanting to have the recordings and be present and listen to them in your own time, because there's so much information and wisdom and gifts being shared, the lifetime access is only $77 until I raise that in about half an hour. And then it goes to $99. So I just encourage you that if you're enjoying this and if it's making a difference in your life, I want to encourage you to check that out. And then check out my speaker page, and by all means, email me if you're interested in learning more about the journey of unbecoming as we walk across Costa Rica. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you so much for your time. Such a wonderful opportunity to be here with you. Bye-bye.